Christian's bringing the word today. So Genesis, Noah's Ark. Let's give him our full attention.
Come on, record it, man. We don't need any. Please go nations to the thing. Please feel free to. You want my wallet, please? You can't leave until you get 20. Man.
All right.
Got enough.
So are we ready, guys?
We're
ready, honestly. All right.
Sorry.
So, my title for this message today is Standout. And where I'm going to be at, as Caleb said, I'll be in Genesis 6 and 7, talking about Noah and the ark. So I'm going to start at Genesis 6, verse 5. It says, "The Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every intention of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually." So we see that in this day with Noah and the ark, every man was following his own heart and his own desires, but in everything they did, it was only living in evil. And that takes me to a verse in Jeremiah 17:9. It says, "The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately sick. Who can understand?" So, like, you can keep trying to follow your heart, but your heart alone, nothing good is going to come out of it. Everything's going to be bad. Everything's going to be evil. Everything's going to be sick. So, but at the same time, to these people, this lifestyle might have been comfortable or even fun. And sometimes they even saw it as the only way to fit in with their friends, with whoever. So it's kind of like they're taking the view of, if they're doing it, I'll do it. He's doing it, I'll do it. So this is kind of a culture of followers. And God hasn't called us to follow, but he's called us to stand out and be disciples, to be shepherds and not sheep. So now I want to go to Genesis 6, verse 8 and 12 and 13. 6 verse 8 says, "But Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord." So Noah, he was the good guy, obviously, the guy who built the ark. And in verses 12 and 13, it says, "And God saw the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted their way on the earth. God said to Noah, I have determined to make an end of all flesh. The earth is filled with violence in them. Behold, I will destroy them with the earth." So here we see God revealing his heart to Noah, saying, like, I can't deal with these people anymore. They're not it anymore. They're too bad, they're corrupt, they're defiling my earth. So I'm going to send the flood. And he tells Noah in verse 14, "Make yourself an ark of gopher wood. Make rooms in the ark and cover it inside and out with fish." So Noah's building this ark, and I like to look at it from the view of the civilians or citizens around him. So all these people, they're seeing this old guy building an ark, but they never even experienced a flood. They're following their own hearts, right? And they're like, what's the point of this? You're wasting your time. So they're probably looking at him saying, like, what an idiot. You're stupid. What's the point? Like, you're wasting your life. And, all they're looking for is fun. And their definition of fun is their life. But that's them following their hearts. But Noah, he was called by God, and he's following the voice of God. So along with that, these people are searching for favor in their peers. But Noah, he's searching for favor, to keep his favor in the eyes of God. So we see that in Genesis 6:22, Noah did this. He did all that God commanded him. So we see that Noah didn't care. He did everything that God had instructed. He built this big old ark, got his family in there, got the animals, the pears. He was ready to start it because that's what God wanted to do. So I'll fast forward here to Genesis 7:22 and 23. Does anyone want to read that?
I can. Everything that breathed and lived on dry land died. God wiped out every living thing on the earth, people, livestock, small animals that scurry along the ground, and the birds of the sky. All were destroyed. The only people who survived were Noah and those with him in the boat.
So at this point, the flood has come, everything is killed, everything dead, and Noah and his family were the only ones who survived. So Noah survived because he had enough faith to stand out, and even to the point of being mocked at and laughed at. And that takes you to a verse in the New Testament that parallels really well with this story. And in 1 Corinthians 1:27, it says, "But God chose what is foolish in the world to shame the wise. God chose what is weak in the world to shame the strong." So God chooses what is foolish, and in this context, it would be building an ark, because people are looking at Noah like, there's no point in this. Like, this is really stupid. There's no point. And but ultimately, Noah was the only one who got saved. And these people who thought they were wise, they had no idea of how this ark could have saved their lives. So I feel like we need to ignore the wisdom of the world to follow the foolishness of God, because that foolishness of God is so much better than the wisdom in this world. Because man is stupid and the heart is deceitful. So making the choice to do something foolish but wise in God's eyes, that decision can change your life. It can alter the course. And that takes me to another verse in Proverbs 1:7. It says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and instruction." So when we fear the Lord, that's kind of humbling ourselves before Him, and allowing ourselves to really hear His voice. So when we allow ourselves to hear God's voice, that's when we receive the only wisdom that really matters. The only wisdom that we need to apply to our lives. And when we act on that wisdom that we receive, that is when we stand out. So you might look foolish in acting on this wisdom, but just know that listening, not just hearing, but listening to the sound of God's voice is so worth it. So here's my question to you. Are you willing to gain His reward by staying out, even to the point of looking foolish or being rejected? So, yeah, I just want you to let that sink in. It's like, is God worth it? Who is more important to you? So, you might stand out to your peers, but peers aren't the only people you're going to stand out to. You're also going to stand out to God. Because your peers are going to look at you, and they're going to say, he's weird, he's different. I don't really think he belongs with us. I don't think he belongs with our group. But God is going to look at you and say, he's different from the world. And he's my child. He belongs with me. And that's what he's going to do. I'm going to give him my prize, my eternal life, my eternal joy, and fill him with my life. And so that's all I got. Pray out here. Sure. We in this room.
We can after this.
Deuces.